you ever wonder how your favorite superheroes honed their on-screen skills? Or how the sword fights in films and on stage look so well choreographed? Well, look no further, because you're in for a treat with today's show. We get to learn about how a stunt is properly conducted with Ring of Steel's own Christopher Barbeau, the maestro. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Madonna University. I'm Chris Benson. And today I'm here with Christopher Barbeau, who is the owner of Ring of Steel Action Theater and Stunt Troupe. Should I just refer to you as the maestro from now on?
The maestro is lovely. Chris is also just fine.
Okay, excellent.
Since we're both Chris's, I think that would be appropriate.
That's right, that's right. Well, it seems appropriate for me to start by asking the origin story of the maestro, if you will.
I think that it dates all the way back to wrestling with Dad.
Okay.
And my father was someone who could bench press over 400 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And so I was perfectly safe fighting with him. And as I started to learn martial arts and fencing at a school that required both for physical education, and my love for theater, when the Renaissance Festival started in 1979,
yep.
I found a way to bring the fencing experience that I had working at the Southfield Fencing Academy together with the martial arts experience I had from Roper City Country School.
Awesome.
And start getting paid to sword fight.
How cool is that?
And wander around in costume. Oh, it was wonderful. I met a group of like-minded aficionados of swordplay, and we formed a group called the Four of Swords. And for 7 years, we performed at Renaissance festivals around the country.
Including the one here in Michigan?
Including the one here in Michigan.
I probably saw you then on those many years that I attended.
Almost certainly, because for about the first 15 years, we were the only act that was allowed to fight down at the audience level.
Oh, wow.
And not up on stage. So we all broke up and went our separate ways to graduate schools and whatnot. I stayed here in Michigan at the University of Michigan and realized I needed another group of people to fight with. So we took our groupies and trained them up. And for 2 more years, we performed as the Flashing Blades. But then they graduated high school.
Darn it.
So the idea in 1989 for the Ring of Steel was born that I would have a continuing supply of people being trained and then move them into the performance aspect of the business after they had gotten about 2 years of training is what it takes to do this well and in front of a live audience.
And make it believable.
Yes.
Excellent. So Ring of Steel, tell me about the name. Where did this name come from?
Well, I wish that I could say it was an original idea.
Okay.
There was a Ring of Steel in Chicago in the 70s, and their group went the way of most groups. After 6 or 7 years, they broke up and their members went different ways, and we were looking for a new name. And the top contender at that time was the Crimson Guard. I'm so glad we found the Ring of Steel instead. But obviously the double entendre is very intentional. The sound of these swords clashing together is musical. And for 20 years, I was the fight director for the Michigan Opera Theater, where these are another instrument that we use with the orchestra to add to the music of the orchestra. That ring is an essential part of it. So not only is it a community, a ring of people who trust each other, because when these swords are swinging at the side of your head at a couple 100 miles an hour, you need to trust the other person.
Absolutely.
Has absolute control over them, as well as a ring of comrades and colleagues that can perform together, and the sound of the weapons themselves.
So this grew from a personal passion to an amazing organization that is very multifaceted. I was looking at your website, and there are so many things. Tell us a bit about Ring of Steel and all the different things that it encompasses.
Well, we're an educational group. We teach and train, and we have a facility in South Ann Arbor where we do that. We have our performance teams, both a circus unit that does fire performing, as well as aerial silks, if you're familiar with Cirque du Soleil. We also do live action stunt shows. And we perform those at Motor City Irish Festival, Saline Celtic Fair, Michigan Renaissance Festival we've kind of moved away from. It's just such a huge commitment to be there for 7 weekends.
Sure.
But smaller fairs, 1-2 weekends, those are the ones that we seek out. We have an active library education program where we send performers into libraries and we teach about this art and we share whatever the theme is. Some years it's pirates, some years it's space pirates. So we've got that performing unit. And we assist with films and theatrical productions. We have over 2,500 weapons in our rental collection, ranging from ancient Egypt and Greece right up through modern firearms.
And you said rental collection.
Yes.
So this would imply that I or a person could rent them for an event or situation? Tell me about that.
We've had people rent for us simply Halloween.
Oh,
they contact us and they're like, I need a sword for Halloween, or I need a piece of armor for Halloween.
Why not this one?
Exactly. Or films have called us up, and stage productions. In fact, Oakland University will be visiting us this very evening to rent a bunch of swords for their production of She Kills Monsters.
Wow. So it sounds like that you do things for the big stage, you do things for the camera, and I also saw on your website that you have events that can come to a wedding or to a birthday party, or become very hands-on. Tell us about that.
Well, I've had performers turn up their nose at performing for a children's birthday party. But honestly, every performance as an actor and as a stunt performer, every performance you do hones your skill. And you will never have a more appreciative audience than an 8-year-old looking up at you in wonder.
Oh, I'm sure.
At you right in their living room, not on a screen, not, not on a stage someplace or separated from them, but right in front of them, not only performing for them and interacting directly, but then putting a weapon in their hand. I have a bunch of the trainers we used for the movie Hook, and we put those in the kids' hands just like we did for those kids in Hook, and they get to play with those aluminum swords. So it's a huge part of the ongoing training program to give them as many different experiences as possible.
And I just can't imagine, again, like you said, just a small child looking with wonder and awe because you've brought a real life pirate or you've brought a real life character to them, meeting them, interacting with them.
Absolutely. And one of the fun things for us is our learning experience. For instance, we discovered that while Captain America is popular, Deadpool is way over the top popular with 8-year-olds.
Yeah. So do you turn upside down and hang from the ceiling and enter in that way, or no?
That is one of the services that we can provide.
I see.
An old Chrysler vehicle called a PT Cruiser. We actually came rappelling out of the ceiling for a Mission Impossible themed introduction at their dealer showcase.
Well, I know the people out there watching want to hear more, so we do have to take a break, but we'll be right back where you can hear more about classes at Ring of Steel and how things might have changed during the pandemic. Stay tuned.
World. When you pick up a book,
I used to read every night to all the younger kids,
and let your imagination break free, you won't believe how much fun it can be.
let down your help.
Experience a world of adventure, excitement, and endless possibilities. Get tangled up in a good book. Explore new worlds. Read. Visit read.gov today.
Mom, can I have $1? Yeah, it's right. I think my purse is upstairs on the bed. It's not here.
Check the dining room.
No,
What about your sister's room?
it's not there either.
The upstairs closet? The downstairs closet?
There are no more closets.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Do you like this top? It's so gay.
Really?
Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arts-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch.
Van Gogurt. Thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and I'm here with the maestro, Christopher Barbeau. And he's going to tell us all about these things you see in front of us. I'm sure you've been watching and saying, when are they going to talk about that stuff? So where would you like to begin with all of this?
I'd like to begin with one of the first questions that people ask us. Are they real?
Yes.
And in the case of something like this, they're not real sharp, but when it's swinging a couple hundred miles an hour at the side of your head,
sure,
it doesn't need to be sharp. And in fact, historical swords were not sharp like a kitchen knife. They, we're not cutting a tomato with it, cutting the other person.
Yes, yes.
And of course, since we're stunt performers, the last thing we want to do is get injured, because if we're injured, we're not performing.
Okay.
We're not performing, we're not taking a paycheck.
This is true.
And try and get health care as a stunt person. There are some differences. Now, because we're live performers, we frequently use real steel swords.
Okay.
They're not real sharp, but
Okay.
they are...
Oh, they're real heavy. Oh, sorry.
No, they're designed to be hit together.
That was not planned. Wow. There's some weight to that.
Yes. Yes, it's almost 3 pounds of steel. It's a baseball bat.
I'll give that
made
back
of
to you.
steel. But whenever you see fighting in films, it's done with a little different type of blade.
Oh, yeah. This I can handle.
So this is from one of the blades from First Night.
Oh, wonderful.
With Sean Connery and Richard Gere, and you can feel
Yeah.
why Richard
Yes.
Gere was able to fight so quickly with it, because they are they're weightless.
Indeed.
Another movie sword right in front of you
yes.
is from Army of Darkness. A cult
love
favorite.
that.
Oh yes, we do too. All of these weapons that we have here today, whether it's a rapier like this is a steel sword bladed rapier, but that one, like the Princess Bride, is an aluminum bladed
Wesley.
rapier. Absolutely. And that scene where they're talking smack on each other,
Yes.
I see you're using Benetti's defense against me. I thought it fitting given the rocky terrain. But I find that Capoferro cancels out Benetti. All those are real sword masters who wrote books back in the era when, as a martial art, that's how you protected yourself. Well, they weren't doing anything from those books other than holding swords.
Wow.
There really is a Benetti's defense. There are aspects of Capoferro, and the author of the book actually knew that and wrote it in.
Oh, how
But
interesting.
in the movie, it's just plain fun.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as I look out at all of these different items that you have in front of me, I imagine there's a lot of training that goes into how to use them properly, perhaps historically properly, but also in a believable fashion. So how do you teach people that?
There's a whole system that lets us fight without face mask protection and things like that. And that system, it takes a little bit to absorb it. It's kind of the inverse of real martial arts. In martial arts, we practice generating maximum force into the person. With this, we practice focusing energy out and past. So there's still interaction back and forth between us, but there's no possibility of us actually swinging through and hurting each other. So it's an elaborate system. I call it the 6 layers of safety, where we control distance, telegraphing, aim points, focus of energy, that martial arts aspect, and then choreography and practice, practice, practice. When a producer comes to us or a director comes to us and says, how much is this all going to cost? It's 20 hours for every minute of fight that you see. So in a film where there's 7 or 8 minute long sequence.
Say that again.
20 hours of rehearsal and training for every minute of screen time.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yes.
Wow. So,
and stuntmen train in parkour, martial arts, historical swordplay you referenced before, and of course fencing, being the most accessible to modern audiences, as well as acting, music, and dance, expressing ourselves and telling story with a body. Nothing drives us more crazy when they say, oh, stuntmen, they don't act.
oh my gosh.
We do, we act, but all of our acting takes place in a 10th of a second or a 20th of a second in terms of reacting to a punch or playing
and making
off
it
a hit.
believable.
Exactly.
Well, I understand we have some pictures that were brought here that you're going to be talking us through as well. So we're going to be rolling in here. So this is what the classes look like.
Yes, we have a studio in South Ann Arbor where anyone can come and practice. They learn basic sword technique for an hour, and then the second hour we practice falling and rolling and mini trampoline and flying people through the air and jumping off of scaffolding into high falls and a whole panoply of things. We even have summer camps for kids where we do this, where children 8 to 17 years old
Oh, I want to
can do
be a
it.
kid again. This looks like so much fun.
There are only 3 stunt camps in the nation. Hollywood, Texas. Texas is cooler than us. It's Texas. They can blow things up and light things on fire there. Ann Arbor, not so much. And Ann Arbor, Michigan. We perform at, again, various festivals and events. So there are performance opportunities to help the actors grow and gain skills. This is actually a science fiction fantasy convention where we are teaching the students there how to do basic hand-to-hand combat.
Okay.
We are also the trainers for the Michigan Educational Theater Association. Will be going to their state festival in just a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
To teach hundreds of acting students how to be safe with weapons, which is what you see me doing here, talking about firearm safety. Very, very much in the news right now with the incidents with Alec Baldwin and Rust.
Yes, it is.
Many shows have canceled their use of firearms with
Really?
us. Yes. And of course, Jedi Academy, which is what you're going to get a little taste of in the next
I can't wait for this.
Where we teach people how to, we sneak martial arts in on kids who would never do martial arts normally. And we teach them basic sword handling skills and performance skills.
And that looks like so much fun. And the fact that you bring that to life and that you've brought it here and that we're going to get a little sample of that after this is so exciting. And I bet that's popular.
Oh, very much so. Jedi Academy is one of our most frequently hired activities.
Well, it is time for another break. We'll be back in just a minute. But stay tuned because I know you're going to want to see me getting trained in some Jedi Academy action in just a minute. So stay tuned.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Yes, ready.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
In 1977, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours, 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the US Open twice, 1 in 1.2 billion. The odds of him having a child diagnosed with autism, 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and we're here in the studio with the maestro, Christopher Barbeau of Ring of Steel Action Theater and Stunt Troupe. And he's going to demonstrate a few techniques for us, and I am going to get some Jedi training, I understand. So I'm ready for it. So, and I know you have someone you've brought with us today.
I do. I have with me one of my top, I don't even want to call him a student anymore because in some ways he's past the master already. But this is my son, Gianmarco. Jay is going to be demonstrating with me today. And
Excellent.
He has literally had a sword in his hand since he wasn't wearing anything else but holding a sword.
Oh my gosh.
As a little tiny 2-year-old.
Yes.
So we're going to demonstrate just a little bit for you, limited space here, but we want you to be able to get your hands on these as quickly as possible.
I'm stepping back until you tell me it's time.
Right, so we're going to have you step just a little out of line of us. So that,
sounds good.
Because those 6 layers of safety play very strongly in this.
Oh,
now
look at that.
these are the same type of props that we would use in the Star Wars film. And We set a particular distance from each other where we are able to just reach each other's wrist. And then we perform a choreographed sequence. Now we're going to kind of do this sort of half speed for you.
Okay.
So drawn from Princess Bride moves, we have up, down, bind over into a lunge, throw down, and a clearing move. Ha! Okay, so that was a little faster than.
Now, was that half speed? Hold on a minute here.
Probably 75 or 80% speed.
Okay.
But it's a sequence of 27 moves.
Okay.
Planned in advance.
Okay.
Each and every single one with specific aim points, how we're swinging, how he's parrying, angling the parry, or whether I'm coming straight in and he's parrying to the side. But if he doesn't parry, in fact, I'm just missing. So every single aspect of this is planned to keep us as safe as possible so that we don't get some $20 million a movie actor whacked with one of these.
My fee is not that high, so we're okay.
And it's a good thing too for us. Let's put a little ending to that, shall we? All right, so we're going to move back and forth a little more so that our camera people are ready and do it with just a little more energy. We'll be standing still.
Okay, okay.
All right? Surrender? So.
Wow, okay. Yeah, that makes me want to get in there and do that.
So, we're going to put a lightsaber in your hands, Chris.
There it is.
All right. The first thing that you need to learn with any sword is to treat the opponent, in this case, you're my dance partner, with respect. So we're going to salute.
Okay.
So we activate the lightsaber with our finger.
Oh my
you see that? Chris has that down.
Okay.
All right, and these don't have sound. These are stunt sabers.
Okay.
So if we drop them, the
Is
sound.
it weird if I make sound?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Okay.
Sorry,
go ahead.
We wouldn't want to rehearse that, so it got locked in.
Got it.
So we salute over the heart, out to the stars, and down. Very good. And we go on guard.
Okay.
All right, and then we're whacking the swords together gently in the middle. Up, half circle down, and up. Great, and then we continue the half circle down and do it again on the opposite side. Excellent, and then I'm going to carry your sword over.
No, okay.
I have a tendency to lead.
Okay, that's great, that's great.
So, up, down, up. Oh, look at that, down, up, down, and what we call a bind over. I simply carry your blade over. We work together to make that look
amazing.
Like it threw you away.
So how long would it take to the little scenario you did before this with all the really good sword fighting? How long would it take to learn that?
Well, it's one of the first fights that we teach because they're simple moves. The reason that they're able to do it left or right-handed is because they're simple sequences. And they were able to practice those. And it's a very lighthearted style of fighting we call vaudevillian sword fighting. So it dates back to the 20s, where we can drink a glass of wine while we do those moves.
Oh, and do this in my spare time, right?
Right, or hold a flower in our teeth while we battle back and forth. So it's probably 60 hours of training to get that in your head and then start to move while you perform it. Unfortunately, thanks, I suspect, in no small part to video games, it has become harder to find people who can move while they move their arms.
Got it.
So getting the upper and lower body moving.
As a mere mortal, if I wanted to learn that sequence, or my partner and I wanted to learn that, could we come and learn that? Would that be something you could teach us?
Absolutely.
Wow. And where can people find out? What's your website again?
ringofsteel.org.
Okay.
Because we are an educational group first.
Yes.
We love to teach this and share our passions. You don't have to want to become an expert at it. You can just come to get that COVID-20 off of your body.
For sure.
And we have workshops in sword play and all the other aspects of stunt work. So it's open to the general public for $10 for 3 hours.
Really?
Really.
Oh, how awesome. Okay,
Because-
show me this again. I
All
have
right.
to try this again because this is, okay, I've probably already forgotten everything.
All right, so
okay.
up, down, up. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. Very good. Bind over. Okay. She has a tendency to lead, I see. And then you lunge at my shoulder, and I block it. And I lunge at your shoulder, and you block it.
Okay.
You lunge at the opposite shoulder, seeing an opening, and I say no. And you bind that around and through. And then you try and cut me in half.
Really?
Across my waist.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Delicately, as one might slice the tofu, I see. So, yes.
Awesome.
That's the right idea.
And I bet kids love this.
Oh, absolutely.
Kids of all ages, like 50-year-old kids as well as younger kids.
When we fog a room and they fire up these lightsabers, 20 kids in the room, and they run around with these glowing and a fog-filled, swirling room, the energy is pretty hard to beat.
You love this. I can
do.
see it on you.
Oh, yes.
So what does the future of Ring of Steel look like? What do you see for the next 40, 50 years?
Well, I'm hoping to turn it over eventually to the next generation. Yeah. But for me, I love teaching. I love being in front of a class. The high I get off of seeing the kids, whether it's eight-year-olds or whether it's college students.
Sure.
The thrill I get for going into a civic theater and teaching a cast how to do this safely.
Absolutely.
That's something I plan to do as long as the road lasts.
Oh.
The gentleman that we all chase, who choreographed the fights for Princess Bride, Bob Anderson, Maestro Bob Anderson, died on the set of The Hobbit 2 in his late 80s. He was like 89 years old.
Wow.
So he stunt doubled for Errol Flynn. That's how long
gosh.
he had been in this business. So we all hope we can go that way.
And I hope that for you too.
Thank you, Chris, so much.
Well, it's gone by so fast. I'm going to take us out, but then I'd love if you guys could keep fighting here. Would that be okay after
Absolutely.
I do this? Thank you so much for watching. I know you've enjoyed this, and I am not yet a Jedi, as you can see, but we're so glad you joined us, and we look forward to seeing you next time as we celebrate all the great things like these guys here in Michigan. See you soon. Please